Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm really excited to share with you my take on a student-centered classroom. Education has really changed from the traditional use of a classroom to the modern day use. Traditional classrooms often feature teachers taking the lead role. Many instructional strategies that have been created since then have a more proactive approach to them where students are at the forefront. Instead of memorizing facts, students are actually retaining the information that they've learned. Classrooms of today apply knowledge through interactive, personalized content, which is why many classrooms and schools have developed the student centered learning approach. These are my strategies and ideas on how you can implement a student centered classroom that, since being a teacher, I have really learned and took heart from. Before I get started, please don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. I'm a huge fan of incorporating student choice, anything from activities to assessments, even to homework. I think it really encourages students to be a part of the learning process. My favorite ways to incorporate this would be using a choice board or menu. Kids, just like adults, need mental breaks when it comes to learning, and making them fun and interactive is a must. I have some free ones down below that you're welcome to access and use. You can also provide students with like mental check ins kind of throughout the day as you would when you're checking for understanding. Students need a way to refresh and kind of cope in a positive, healthy way. Plus, transitioning to new activities and sitting for long periods of time can be daunting and overwhelming for students. Brain breaks provide a necessary outlet for them. Arranging the seating, whether it be from groups or maybe just a class circle, is key because it can be used for any activity. It's definitely a game changer when you want to promote a positive learning environment for your students to thrive in. A great way to kind of incorporate this, besides changing the seating of like the desk, is to include different types of seating. So I've seen some where teachers have used bean bags or different kinds of chairs, or even having crates with like pillows attached to them. Use whatever works for you and whatever you have available. Not only does student expression help students succeed, but it also builds self-esteem and confidence in them too. Student choice kind of plays a part with this. One way to incorporate this is to encourage them in morning meetings or as you greet them at the door. In my classroom, I'm definitely going to have some sort of like a greeting poster to kind of welcome them in the classroom every morning. I do have a free greeting poster if you would like to access it down below. To encourage discussions, I'm going to use talk moves, or as I call them, or sentence starters to kind of get discussions going. Again, I have a free resource if you're interested for that too. And I'm also going to encourage feedback. Every week, I want to implement Friday 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is something I think I made up myself. It's a great way to get students feedback throughout the week. I will link a copy of this free for you to use down below too. Lessons that are more out of the box encourage thinking that is innovative and a positive classroom experience. Having students engage in hands-on activities that are also collaborative and using more than one instructional strategy is a great way to start this. I also think taking students outside to learn or just kind of changing the scenery is a great way to do this too. And I'm a huge fan of implementing learning centers with various kinds of activities. While I do think worksheets can provide needed guidance when learning or just kind of taking notes, I do believe that there are plenty of other options out there to engage students on a more meaningful level. For example, creating a game out of a concept. Instead of having kids read a textbook, have them create a project. This also allows them to partake in student choice and access that student expression that is important for the classroom experience. And it helps them to make better connections with concepts, really helps them to retain the information in a meaningful way. And there's a ton of informal activities that you can use for your students for assessments, or reviewing content, things like that. Escape activities or virtual field trips are kind of becoming popular. Having students choose the learning topic that you would like to explore as a class is a great way to do this. Using inquiry-based learning, guided discoveries, or web quests are great approaches. Alternate activities just provide a more enriching experience for students to really master the content that they are learning. And not just lessons that are kind of out of the box. I really think this should apply to instructional delivery for teachers. For example, instead of just right off lecturing to students, maybe give students a problem or a question or a prompt that they can kind of get thinking about. Another great way that you can use and also helps to build classroom community is to have a discussion-based lesson where you're building on students' responses. Adapting instruction is also key when students have specific needs or when they're struggling with a concept. Grouping that is adaptive can really teach students effective collaboration skills, which is important for the real world as we know it. It can also meet the needs of many diverse learners, which is so crucial in a student-led classroom. And instead of just grouping on abilities, in a student-centered classroom, students are grouped in a variety of ways. I've seen some where they're paired up by finding their pairs. For example, one student has a card that says cookies and they have to find their pair, which is a student holding a card that says milk. So it's very cute and fun. Involving students on the learning is where the fun actually begins. Getting their feedback and using their interests is very critical. This is where you can also implement other subjects like art, music, maybe PE or technology. It is helpful to have high expectations and clear learning goals. I also believe that it's important for students to become lifelong learners when they see their teacher enthusiastic about the learning material and modeling active participation. I'm a huge supporter on this one. Also, because I have so many ideas of how to incorporate this. I really want to build a foundation where students just feel welcome and parents too. The classroom is more than just a place for learning. I see it as a big community. I really believe that having students engage in activities that foster communication and collaboration and discussion based is very key here. And I really want to ensure that my students will be treated like a family and say often that it's not just my classroom, it's our classroom. So with a student-centered classroom, you might be thinking, well, how does the teacher fit into all this? Education has definitely come a long way from traditional roles for teachers, but the teacher is still a needed asset to the classroom. As the classroom takes on newer approaches that are kind of student-led, it can be a bit confusing. But as I said, teachers do have a vital role in these student-led classrooms. For example, teachers can facilitate learning by acting as a guide as students develop key skills. As a teacher, future teacher myself, and a student teacher, I can definitely say without a doubt that students do need their teachers around who need direction and guidance. Every student may also have different needs as well, which is why it's crucial to develop personal learning plans for them. Just like WGU created an individualized learning plan for me with my journey and getting my bachelor's, I know it's important to do the same thing for my own students. A teacher in a student-centered classroom will also need to plan learning activities, provide tools and feedback, and manage the class. I mean, that's so crucial. Student-centered learning gives students a better chance of really understanding the material at hand and really paves the way for the future of education. I do have some free resources that I kind of mentioned in this video, and I will link those and more down below. You are welcome to access all of them. And I would love to hear your take on a student-centered approach classroom. Thank you so much for being a part. I will see you all again soon. Bye, guys.